Hey, everybody.
Yes.
What a crowd. Guys, it's Monday night, and we're here with Johnnyswim.
Monday night, everybody.
Well, you guys were just telling me backstage that you flew in just for the day.
Yes.
We
but I
did.
think we're here for 6 hours.
Yes, 6 hours. We came in from Memphis, and then we go straight back to LA where our 19-month-old son will be sleeping, and we will wake him up to play with him after midnight. That is the plan.
So tell me about your son, and how do you guys kind of balance that with parenthood, with music? You have a lot going on now. Your tour is starting up, so...
You don't balance at all. You just have a lot of people that you love and that love you come and help all the time and make it a party.
Yeah, it's kind of like red alert at all times. You just go. We said yes to this years ago, and we've never looked back. And so we got married and just kept going. We toured when she was pregnant until she was 8 months pregnant, and then we started touring again when little Joaquin was 6 weeks old, 7 weeks old. And yesterday was his 84th flight. He's been to 28 states, 4 countries. All that stuff, and yeah, so you just kind of, the answer to the question is, we do not know how to balance, or I don't even know if we're doing it right, we're just doing it.
Well, you can adopt me, because I'd love to go on 84 flights to
go.
travel the world, right, everybody?
You say that now.
Yeah.
So, guys, this album is so good. I listened to it, I cried. Good cry. Your voices are just so great, and they blend so well together. Let's go back to the beginning a little bit, where you guys met before you were married. You guys were writing partners, correct, in Nashville?
That is incorrect. That is actually a bad Wikipedia fact that we do not know how to change.
Change it. We got.
I don't know how to
We
change
don't know how to
Wikipedia.
do it. If
There's
somebody
all
out there
kinds of
can tell
stuff
me
that's
how to
about
fix
another
that.
duo that is really great, and yeah, it's not us, but hey.
Let's clear the air then.
So
Let's do
we
it.
actually
We need this origin story.
met through, we met at a coffee shop, but we had first seen each other at a church in Nashville. And I was there, I was like in college, I was there with some friends. I was like basically in sweatpants, and I see this like Latin lover stand up.
So I was at church, but I was not there for Jesus. I was there because I was dating this girl, and she was starting to feel really guilty that I don't go to church with her. So she was like, if we're going to stay together, I need you to come to church with me. I was like, all right, I guess we're going to church. And so I go to church. Church is over. And as the people go to leave at the front, I see Amanda get out of her seat to leave. And I think to myself, and this is really a true story, I think to myself, that's the girl I'm going to marry. But the problem was I also said out loud, that's the girl I'm going to marry.
Not a good date move.
So that was a quick ending to the other relationship. And so I stood up and I was waiting for Amanda because she was walking down the aisle where I was sitting on the aisle. And I was like, I'll stand up. I've got it all ready. I got a couple lines ready because I was a bit of a mess. So I'm at church like dumping people and trying to find new people. And so she gets about this far away from me and she literally rolls her eyes and I shrivel back into my seat and I don't see her again for 4 years.
Yeah, sometimes you got to play hard to get.
Did you notice him at church?
I did. I noticed him, and I noticed that he was with a lot of like very pretty girls, and I was like, he looks like he's got his hands full, and I feel like that's trouble. So yes, I think you're cute, but I'm going to avoid you because you also look like your charm could suck me in like a vortex. So I literally avoided him for 4 years. I would see him all over town. Actually, there's some Nashvillians here. Hi. So the Green Hills Mall, there's like a mall in town, and he was a valet parker. And I just remember like pulling up and I saw him coming to get the car and I just sped away because it's like, nope, not going to talk to him, not going to do it. He's too cute.
I needed those 4 years
You
because
did.
I was a bit of a douche. But I'm not anymore. Got a kid to prove it. You can't have a kid if you're a douchebag.
That's a fact.
He was a bit of a douche. Only a real man can admit that, right, guys?
Right.
So then how did you finally end up talking to this vortex of a man?
Yeah, so 4 years later, I'm back in Nashville. I was living here, and I went home to visit family. I was at a coffee shop, and a guy named Matt Carney, who's also an amazing artist and songwriter, they were roommates at the time, and I knew Matt from high school, so I said hi to Matt and was like, I think we've met before, I don't remember. I did one of those, and I actually sucked him into my vortex, so tables were turned.
This story is like one of those stories where it's fate. It was meant to happen. You guys kept seeing each other around town, and it finally happened.
Yeah.
But did you guys sit down for the first time and go, oh, we like each other, or oh, let's...
So
No.
real story, I don't know why I think I lie a lot because I'm always telling you when it's the truth. So if I don't tell you it's the truth, it's suspect.
Yeah.
You made the Wikipedia page, didn't you?
I might have, under a different name. I had been cyber stalking her. I literally didn't date another girl from the moment I broke up, or we broke up, me and that girl at church that day. Literally didn't date another girl for those 4 years until I met Amanda properly and we started dating. I did, however, cyber stalk her for the entirety of those 4 years. She was living here in New York and she was a model. And I had the early Google alerts for anytime there's a Wire image, a Getty image, anything of her. And I literally had a folder on my desktop that I would click and drag all the pictures, like, I'm gonna keep that one, I'm gonna keep that one. And I would just keep all these pictures of her. And a roommate of mine had a crush on another girl, and so we would argue about who was hotter. And so I feel like I was building a relationship because I was already defending her.
Oh my God.
The best part is, so we actually started dating, and in the very beginning, he was like, "I'm just gonna come clean. I've got a folder of pictures of you," and I was like, "No way, I have one of you," because I had done the same exact thing. I was like sending pictures to my friends. But before we started dating, after that time I saw him and met him for the first time at the coffee shop, I was dating somebody like fairly seriously. So of course my brain went to, which one of my friends can I set this guy up with? So I started stalking him and sending pictures of him to my friends. Like, hey, you guys should really get his number. He's real sweet. One of us should date him. I can't right now, but one of you guys should really jump on this opportunity.
And none of them wanted to?
Well, if we're being honest, one of them did, but then I just kind of came in swooped him away before that worked out.
So being in Nashville, did you guys kind of know that you were both singer-songwriters?
So I invited her to a show the first time, like, I had done anything provocative in the relationship. Like, will you come watch me sing songs? And my friend that knew I was obsessed with her, that was privy, because it wasn't public information, that I had a folder on my desktop of pictures of one woman that I was obsessed with for literally 4 years. So a friend of mine that knew about this folder saw Amanda walk into my show that night, and he grabbed me by the shoulders and he said, "Dude, Amanda Sudano is here to see you." And I literally went cold. You know that feeling where you can like just feel your whole body just lose all the blood? And I said, and I tried that. I was like, yeah, I know. Yeah, it's no big deal. I know. She's here. So I just went back and immediately started practicing. After the show, she asked if we could write together, if I would ever be interested in writing together. I said I do, because I was just like, yes. So we started writing together purely as a ruse to be alone together. I just knew songwriting looked like two people alone for a couple hours at least. And I could make sure I was having a tough time writing. So it could be a whole day of writing. So the true story is Johnnyswim started by accident. I was just trying to holler.
Back in your douche days.
No. Well, I was trying to holler in the douche days, but then also in like the redeemed douche days. I became a better man, I like to believe.
So how did you guys sit down and think of Johnnyswim? Why is your duo called that?
Well, I feel like especially when we started in Nashville, everybody had very serious names that they had really thought through and like meant something. And in case you couldn't tell, we are not the most mature people you've ever met. I don't know if you noticed from being in the back with us at all, but we're not the most mature people. And so we were kind of like, I think it was mostly that we were lazy. We were kind of like, I don't know. What should we call ourselves? And we had a friend whose name was Johnny, and he was a swimmer. And there was this whole long story where we went to go see him play this like riverboat show, and he had an accident in his pants.
He pooped himself. What? He really did. He was standing so the performance was on the back of the boat. And he's standing there and he's performing, and we know Johnny pretty well. And all of a sudden his eyes just go wide, and he was wearing literally a white linen suit. And we're on the Cumberland River in Nashville. And he finishes the song. He's like, "Hey guys, why don't we just jump in the river?" And everybody kind of like chuckles awkwardly, and then he jumps in the river.
So like nobody ever really knew what happened except for us. But we were like, "Oh my gosh, swim, Johnny, swim! Like get to shore. What are you doing?" And so Swim, Johnny, Swim kind of became an ongoing joke. And everybody knew us as Swim, Johnny, Swim because we were like screaming so loud. And so it became a nickname and like inside joke. And you know how those things go. You just kind of make them your band name and it sticks.
That's another Wikipedia error that says something about your fish.
I don't know how that happened.
Your mom
So
bought you a
weird.
fish.
I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, well, speaking of your mom, her mom's Donna Summer, everybody.
Yes.
Like, can you imagine your mom's Donna Summer?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Tell me about how you, though, became interested in music. Were you always just singing as a kid?
Yeah, I was just always around it, so it felt like there wasn't many other options, you know? Like that was just always what we did for fun in my family was write songs. If we were bored, my parents would sit us somewhere with a pen and paper and be like, okay, write a song. And then we'd go into my dad's studio and record it. So it was just always kind of the passion for everybody. And I think that's probably what I saw the most, more so than any sort of like direct encouragement from them. I saw both of my parents be great at what they did and be really passionate about it. And I think, you know, passion draws you in, and it just kind of drew me in from a really young age. And so that's always what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And did you always know what kind of style of music you were interested in?
No, because I kind of love everything. Like there's no style of music that I'm just like never, I don't listen to it. Like I pretty much love everything. And so growing up I was always, you know, I had many different phases of what I thought my music would sound like and what it did sound like. And I think once we met and we started writing together, then it kind of took more and more shape because, you know, there was, I don't know, I guess we kind of, wherever we overlapped on our influences, that's kind of what came out the most.
How about you when you first started? What was your, you know, style of music that you would perform?
I remember my parents asking me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I didn't know of many careers that you could have. And for as long as I can remember, I wanted to be an astronaut, an architect, those two things. And then I found out you could do like the music thing as a living, and so it was quickly only that. And so I remember that day, I must have been like 7 or something. I sat at my mom's piano.
But low-key, he still wants to be an astronaut.
I would love to be an astronaut. I think I'm a little old though. And so I just remember like banging it. I remember the first song I wrote, it was terrible. But I was just obsessed with music from that point on. I remember I learned 2 chords on the guitar, and I played those 2 chords like literally for a week. And my mom was like, okay, I love that you're passionate, and I'm not trying to like stop that, but stop playing the guitar, please. So for as long as I knew it was a career, that's what I wanted to do. And it's all, I feel the most myself, and we feel, I think, the most ourselves, writing, performing, recording. There's even dealing with loss and dealing with things. Our therapy has been writing songs, performing songs. Our healing sometimes, and if we're going through rough times, is performing together. People ask us sometimes, like, what's it like if you get on stage and you've been in a fight, or do you get mad at each other during the show? It's always been the opposite. Like, if we had a tough time, or if we had a disagreement before a show, the show reminds us what we first saw in each other. Performing together I feel like we fall in love more every time we do that. So I like it. I like it lots.
I like it a lot. So you were a couple before you became a duo.
It was kind of all at the same time.
Who really knows?
We couldn't. I knew she couldn't get rid of me because we weren't like official, but we were making out. She couldn't stop making out with me unless we stopped writing songs. So I had to keep that going.
Mm-hmm. And so, how did you kind of fuse this style? Because my point with all the style stuff is you guys sing folk, a little bit of soul, a little bit of pop, a little bit of country, and it all fuses together.
I think we just let ourselves be free with it. We didn't have any sort of, I mean, we always kind of joke, we didn't have a kid that needed braces, so there was no point in trying to like pigeonhole ourselves. We were like, we can be broke. We don't care. Let's just write songs that we want to write. Like, why do we have to write one kind? If we want to write whatever, let's just write it. So we just haven't stopped ourselves. We have no self-control is the answer to that question.
And we're really blessed to have a really great record label that allows us the freedom to make the albums we want. Album 1, Diamonds, they literally heard the album for the first time when I sent it to mastering. Album 2, because they were so gracious on album 1, they heard much more of the process. But we don't have to. I think technology's changed the way music industry works and all that stuff. You don't have to only supply music to the masses. As long as people keep showing up when we do, I don't think we'll change anything.
Ooh, I love that. Georgiica Pond is, again, so great. Tell me about the process. Was there something that inspired you and got you to writing again? Or are you guys just constantly writing? Or was this album sort of a creation that you thought of?
We're very much of the school of Nashville, even though we live in LA. Nashville's where we fell in love, where we started, and really I think how we carry ourselves is very Nashville. You never meet a songwriter in Nashville that writes seasonally. They're not like, all right, well, I got a record I'm trying to get on. They might write more at one point than another, but writers are always writing. And that's pretty much been us. We're always writing songs, always. And especially the last few years of our life have been some of the most difficult. We lost her mom, lost her grandmother, my dad, some of the most pivotal people, the most important people in our lives. And there was no place to go but songwriting for us. And there was a lot of healing. There was hope. There was, and the words given, we gave ourselves permission to mourn on this album. Where on Diamonds, we were going through the process of the initial mourning, and so we encouraged ourselves a lot. The song Diamonds itself was a song of hope to help pick us up. And this album was more face-to-face with the things in our life we're going through. And it wasn't because we were writing for a project. It's because we were writing for our lives, you know? Does that make sense?
Yes, very much. And was that song about grief? Is it Lighthouse? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that one's actually called Georgiica Pond.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good.
And that's one I wrote for our son because, do you want me to tell you the whole story of it?
Yeah.
Should I
Yes.
go into it? So Georgica Pond, it's a place out in East Hampton where my mom's best friend has a house. And so every summer we'd go out and stay with her, and we'd take a ferry over to Shelter Island. And my parents eventually bought a little piece of property in Shelter Island, and we'd sit and daydream about, you know, the house that they were going to put there. And one day our kids are going to go, and the kids, and we're going to have memories here, and this is going to be a great place. And you're always going to have this place to come back to. Like, you'll be grandparents bringing your grandkids to this house. And so when my mom passed away, you know, nothing had happened on the property. It was just kind of overgrown. So Abner and I kept going back every summer, staying with our friends in East Hampton, taking the ferry over. And so last summer we got to bring our son for the first time, and it was just kind of took a whole other meaning. And you know, it's like I realized how much I was drawn to things and wanted to pursue certain things because of my mother's example. And simultaneously now I have this other person that's drawing me and leading me and guiding me. And I didn't feel that anywhere as much and as strongly as I felt it last summer, like just spending time in Shelter Island. And so I kind of wrote it as a lullaby, actually, to our son Joaquin. I was like in a hammock, and
At
it was
Georgica
a beautiful,
Pond.
yeah, it was a beautiful day. And so I'm singing, just kind of making up this song to him. And I put him down for a nap, and I go into the shower, and I'm like kind of emotional, and I keep singing it. And
By kind of emotional, she's bawling in the shower and singing this beautiful song.
And so all of a sudden I just see Abner's cell phone come like over the shower door because he's trying to record the song. And I was like, you're ruining my moment. And he's like, no, I think this actually kind of sums up everything that this record is. It's a lot of the past, a lot of the future, and the bittersweetness that is right now in this moment. And so I think we should just go with this. And I was actually quite embarrassed for a while. I was like, no, we shouldn't. We should not go with this. And he was like, yeah, I think we should. So I'm actually happy that we did, because it really does mean so much to both of us.
And a lot of people think it's just a misspelling of Georgia. Yeah. I believe our intro dude called it Georgiica Pond. But it is, in fact, Georgiica Pond.
And I looked it up because I was like, where is this Georgica Pond?
It's not very rock and roll. It's like super luxe, but we'll keep that between us.
But it's in New York, so woo!
Heck yeah.
But no, that was the song that really got me. I was listening to the album, and I lost a few family members myself this year, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. That song is so beautiful. Did you write a lot of your songs when you were out there in Shelter Island, or?
No, I think actually just that one, right? I don't know. We're always kind of writing. We always have our cell phones out to like record bits and pieces of stuff, because you just never know when inspiration's gonna hit. And a lot of the songs we would just kind of have one line. But Abner was like in an Irish pub, and there's people singing old Irish songs, and he was like, man, I just want to write a song that the drunks sing. And he just wrote that. I want to write a song the drunks sing. It wasn't like supposed to be a lyric. It was just like he wanted.
It was like
to
a
write
mantra.
That type
Like,
of
I
a
want
song.
one day to be able to walk into an Irish pub and just everybody's singing something that I wrote. That more than like winning
Because it doesn't matter
awards.
whether they're happy or sad. It's like they're all together in this moment, when you have like a bunch of drunks singing.
Have you ever
in a
been to
pub.
like an Irish bar when they're singing? They're usually
Of
named like the
course.
Black Rose or whatever. Like they will sing a song about a cheating wife and comparing her to a cow, and everybody's like slamming drinks together and saying moo. Like literally, that's a song. And then the very next song will be about their best friend that died and how slowly they covered the coffin with dirt, and everybody's bawling together in a second. And to me, it seems like super magical. And who knows, all these people just an hour before were arguing because they were rooting for different soccer teams on the TV screens, and now they're like so united. It was a massive inspiration. And
So we're writing with our friend Britt Nuba, who we write a bunch with, and somebody starts playing something on the guitar, and we're like, okay, this is great, let's stay here, but like, what should this be about? And so we're all kind of looking through our little lists on our phones of like lyric ideas or just general ideas, and Abner kind of giggles to himself in the corner and goes, I just wrote, I want to write a song the drunks all sing, and like was kind of like had forgotten that he'd written it, and me and Britton were like, ding, 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 and that is the first lyric of that song. And so sometimes it happens like that. It's just random.
Yeah. Hopefully at your show, all the drunks will be singing
I hope
the
so.
song Drunks.
I hope
yeah.
so.
Before I pass it off to the audience, I am obsessed with Fixer Upper and Chip and Joanna. And if you guys
As
don't
are we.
know, like they're like best friends with Chip and Joanna Gaines. Because your song is the title song of their show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you please tell me what it's like to be friends with Chip and Joanna?
It is real talk. I mean, and I don't know
guys
how
are
to say
perfect
this to where
couples.
like people believe me, but like if you watch the show and you think you love them, you have no idea how much you would actually love them in real life because they are everything wonderful and more. And they're everything that they seem. They're so themselves. Like on the show, they're so themselves. And in person, they're so themselves. And we always say they're the most generous people that we know, not just in gift giving, but they are. They're like great gift givers. But they are generous with themselves more so than I think any other couple I've met.
An example that I'm sure if they saw this, they'd be embarrassed that we're telling everybody. But Chip and Joanna met my mom. They invited us to come. Joanna invited us to come sing at Chip's 40th birthday party. And so we came, my mom and sister. We'd never heard of the show. They'd actually called us personally because we had our agents knew that anytime something came from a reality show, the answer was always no. And so we didn't get any requests when their agents were asking for our song to be their theme song. Always no to reality shows. Always no, always no. So Chip and Joanna asked if they can call us and just talk to us. And they do. And we don't know them from Adam. And we just kind of fall in love with them on the phone. We're like, yeah, of course, yeah. Our song should totally be your theme song, of course. By the way, my mom's a big fan of the show. They're like, why don't you bring them to Waco? We're throwing a birthday party, da-da-da. So we bring them. They sit with my mom forever. They're like the stars of this whole fiasco. Waco runs on the Gaines family. That is the fuel, and Baylor University. That is all there is in Waco. Them two, their kids, and Baylor. And they were talking to my mom, and my mom was telling them the story, and they were asking me about it. My mom and dad came from Cuba in 1980 with nothing. Mom still lives in the house that she bought when she was working 3 jobs. My 2 older sisters were working a job each, and the house is kind of run down, and I'm terrible at, like, fixing anything ever, but I always kind of try when I'm visiting Mom in Jacksonville. The next time I go back to Jacksonville, Chip and Joanna had sent a team to inspect the house, find what needed to be fixed in the house. They put a little like swaying bench that's really beautiful in the backyard. They had like hooked Mom's house up, not for TV, not for money, not for ratings, just because they're dope.
What the? Guys. Mom got a free fixer-upper. Hey, you guys were on that episode too, right?
Yeah.
They'll be here, I think, next week, Chip and Joanna.
We saw they were here at some point because we saw them sign the wall.
I was lucky enough to talk to them last time, but
Heck yeah.
I was like, call me up. I'll come to Waco.
Yeah, exactly.
To see you guys and them. Oh my God, are you
gosh.
kidding me? All right, let's open it up for a few questions before they perform.
Hello.
Hey.
First and foremost, I just want to say I love you guys.
We love
You're
you back.
so inspiring. And Georgiica Pond is awesome.
Thank you.
Old and new, what are your favorite songs to perform live, off the new and off your old?
I think Over for me was my favorite off the old record. Yeah. It's so, and I guess both my answers for old and new are going to be similar because I love kind of sad songs, but I love them because I kind of like forget where I am and who I am, and I just get lost. And there's something about those like melancholy kind of songs that I just like feel like myself in, even though I'm a super happy person in general, but maybe that's why, like maybe that's how I get my like sadness vitamin. I don't know. The new record, I think my favorite one so far is, I think actually Say Goodnight Instead for the same reason. Just kind of, I get to just kind of into a microphone, so it's fun.
Done that a couple times.
Heck yeah.
No, but-
My favorite old song to perform is Adelina. It's a song we wrote for my mom. Heck yeah. And what I love about doing it live is that it's off of an EP that was never really like pushed, promoted, or whatever, but our fans, you guys, have fallen in love with the song, somehow felt the heart that we feel in writing the song, that we felt in writing it, and that we feel in performing it, and it feels brand new every time. Off of the new record, I think my favorite song to perform is Georgiica Pond. I don't sing on it, but I love it every single time. Favorite song I sing on is Hummingbird. So if you guys see us live, we've only done that a couple times so far, but it's a lot of fun.
I've heard the album 6 times already. No,
Hallelujah.
Good. And you guys cover Wicked
Thank you.
Game as well.
We
on this album.
Yes.
did.
That's
Yeah.
our buddy Jeremy Griffith, who mixes all our stuff. He's a great producer, mix engineer, songwriter. He produced that song, and it's proven very difficult for us to translate to the live setting. So I think we're just going to do it acoustic or something live.
It's so good. The whole album is so freaking good. Here we go.
Hey, thank you for being here.
Thank you for being
Thank you
here.
for being here.
Thank you. Can you talk about the album cover and why did you pose like that?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm looking at her boobs, first of all.
This is actually really
That's
funny.
not a joke. Like, I really was. It happened to be the coolest looking picture, but I was like, boobs.
So we did like a full like hair, makeup, the whole thing, like cover shoot. Like for the record, we did this whole, like spent a whole day taking pictures, and we got him back, and something felt, I guess it felt maybe too done. Like it was too put
They
together.
were brilliant. The
or something.
photographer, everybody did a great job.
And so we were all like, we were picking pictures, and we were kind of like, but nobody was like dead set on one. Like we couldn't quite, like, it just didn't feel right. So our best friend Darren, who's literally over our house all the time, like our son, when he wakes up in the middle of the night, calls Mama, Dada, D for Darren. Like that's how much he's at our house. So we're like, Darren, can you just come? Like, you're like an amazing photographer. Just take some where we're just kind of low key, we're being ourselves in the backyard or whatever. So that's literally the side of our house. And Abner's wearing sweatpants.
I really am. I'm wearing
no
that
shoes.
and
Like,
sweatpants.
neither of us are wearing shoes.
And that's like the least glamorous part of any house is where all like the stuff's hidden. So this is like where the air conditioning unit is, like all that stuff. But it was the only place with shade. So that's where we took the picture.
It's beautiful.
That's that.
I think it's gorgeous. I think Amanda can't look bad in pictures.
That's
I look
inaccurate.
like I'm thinking deeply, but really it's pretty shallow.
You guys are the best. Well, this has been so
Thank you.
fun. I
Well,
can't wait
thank
to
you,
watch
Jenny.
this thing.
Thank you guys.